Blessings, blessings. Come on in, like, tag, share, invite people in on this live tonight. I'm sure you will not regret it. Let me see. It says I have 3 already on, but I can't see those names. Come on, blessings, blessings. Put a greeting in there so we can see who we're dealing with tonight. Pray your day went well. From 3 to 0. Let's see. It's frozen. It's frozen. Mm-hmm. Blessings. We apologize for the technical difficulties, but it should be better now. Thank you for those who are chiming in. Let somebody else know that we're live now, and we are waiting to hear from you on tonight. Blessings, Overseer. How are you? Thanks for joining in. Feel free to come on and talk to the people. Technical difficulties is causing us to be delayed. Are you hearing us okay, Overseer? Are we active or are we frozen? We must be active because I see two people now. Tonight we're going to be talking about the first of 7 emotions. Tonight's emotion is love. And Apostle White is going to be sharing with you all very soon. Just giving a few people time to come in who said they were going to be on tonight. But we were trying to work through these technical difficulties. And we believe that they are resolved now. And when anything getting in the way of what's going to take place on tonight again, as we begin our discussion, if there's something you would like to come on as a guest and say to the people, you are more than welcome. I'm sure that Apostle Wyatt won't mind that.
Not at all.
But we are anticipating this being a very good discussion. So again, we're going to be talking about the 7 emotions because different people who have come on over the past few weeks have asked us to talk about things that have caused us to land right here in some of our very beginnings. When we first, hey Tika, when we first started Loving the Me I See, one of the first things we did go through were the 7 emotions, and it proved to be very profitable to the people back then, and it seems to be being requested once more. And so we always want to make sure that we are listening to our viewers. Sometimes we have new people, some who did not know that it's been discussed and they have questions, and therefore it's worth talking about it again. I think that you could never, I don't think that you could ever, talk about love too much, because you'll find out the more you talk, the more you find out that there are some people who really, truly have never experienced what love really is. And so we want to fix that. We want to help you work through some things so that you can enjoy love, not just with your family and friends, but with your mate, those who you're planning to be with long term. You want to make sure that you're able to uh, continue the intimacy in a relationship, continue the communication in a relationship. And once the love and trust is gone, it's kind of hard to do that. So our hopes is that something that is said will help you not look at the other person and say, I told you, but look at yourself and see what you can do to change, because we should always be open to change. We should never feel like we have arrived and that we've learned everything that we can. I think that we should be ever learning students, and we can always learn from somebody, even a child. So we're getting ready to release you to the hands of Apostle Wyatt, and she's going to take you in her own direction.
Hello, everybody. How are you? sorry, I just got a disturbing text. Pray for me. Um, we are going to talk about love. I want to give you a few scriptures first. Um, before we give you definitions about love. Everything we do, hey, we want to make sure we include some type of scripture or let you know that what we're talking about comes from the word. So tonight we asked on last week it was right. We asked everyone what did they want to talk about, and a lot of people said love. That was last week, right?
Yes.
Yes, when we were live, and a lot of people said love. So we want to talk about love tonight, and I have a few things. I believe that Apostle is going to help me. I'm gonna say a few things on love and some very interesting facts that I found out. Well, they were wild moments for me, not for them though. When I shared it with them, they was like, "You didn't know that?" No, I didn't. So we're going to share with you tonight. So our first scripture is coming from Elder in Training, Tanasia. If you could write the scripture in for me. Our first scripture tonight is coming from First Peter 4:8, and it says, "Above all, love each other." This is the NIV. Above all, love each other deeply, because love covers a multitude of sins. That's First Peter 4:8. John 15:12 through 13 says, "My command is this: love each other as I have loved you. Greater love has no one than this, to lay down one's life for a friend." That's love, y'all. Jesus taught that genuine love from other means seeking their own will, being without expecting anything in return, especially from those who are in difficult situations. Did y'all hear that? Jesus taught that genuine love for other means seeking their well-being without expecting anything in return,
Blessings, Tori.
especially from those who are in difficult situations. All right. Um, 1 Corinthians 13:4 through 8 says that love is patient and is kind, does not envy or boast, and is not ignorant. I can't say that word. Thank you. Or rude. It also says that love does not insist on its own ways. It is not irritable or resentful, or or resentful, and rejoices with the truth. All right, that is 1 Corinthians 13:4 through 8. And as I began to study, if you have any questions, you can ask them. And as Apostle always state in the beginning of her uh, statement when she comes on, we don't know everything. So if it's something that we don't know, we'll get the answers for you. If it's something that we're not sure on, but I've come to find out that most of the times when I ask Apostle a question, she has the answer. So I'm sure if you have a question tonight, she'll be able to help you. All right. So love is a complex emotion that can have many that can have meanings, including a strong feeling of affection for another person, a strong attraction, or a strong liking to something. The American Psychological Association described love as a complex emotion that involves others' feelings, such as tenderness, sensitivity to others' person's responses. All right. Love can also encompass a range of positive mental and emotional states, from the simplest pleasure to the deepest inter interpersonal affection. All right. I'm just reading a few definitions on love. Some say that love is patient. The Bible says love is patient, kind, and doesn't involve envy or rudeness. Others say that love is about being willing to be vulnerable, forgive, and willing to apologize. You blessings, you're willing to be vulnerable. That's something that a lot of us don't know how to do, because we are afraid that if we become vulnerable with our significant other, with our friends, with whomever, it will cause us to open up and share too much. So we shut ourselves out instead of becoming vulnerable. We have to learn how to forgive when we love. And we have to be willing to apologize. Apostle often say, if I hurt your feelings, it's not, I meant to say it, but maybe I shouldn't have said it in that way. Did I say that right?
I'm not going to have to apologize for what I said, but I will have to apologize for how it affected you.
How it affected you. So that's what I'm learning in this journey called love. All right. Love is the most important word in our love language. Did y'all know that? Love is an important word in our love language. I can say to you, I love you 50 times a day. People laugh at me because everybody that I talk to, before I hang up, if I really love you, I'm going to say I love you, or I love you with the love of the Lord. Either way, I'm still going to say that I love you. So for me, it is a very important part of our language. So I want to talk about that for just a few minutes. Is it hot in here or is it me?
It's going in and out.
Okay. I didn't want to turn the air on because you can't hear. I want to pause and talk about that for a little bit. So when I was growing up as a kid, my parents didn't say that they love me. They would go throughout a whole day, and they just never said it. They never vocalized anyway that they loved me. So their way of showing that they loved me was through materialistic things. They would buy me gifts, or they would take me out, or they would do whatever, because we say love is an action word, right? But sometimes we want to know, don't do that. Don't do me. You know, I say I love you. After each time we hang up, I make sure to say that I love you. Because you never know. It's just in me. I just love to love. I can have seen you at one time today. Take Apostle, for instance. I could have just saw her this morning and we're in passing. I love you, bestie. She called me on the phone. What you doing? How you doing, bestie? Or whatever the case may be. Before I hang up, I love you, bestie, because it's a part of my love language. It's a part of who I am. So growing up in the home, how would you deal with that? Growing up in a home where your parents or whoever, because I was in foster care, didn't tell me that they loved me. And so now I'm becoming into my adulthood. Let's jump. And I have my own children, and for some strange reason, I made sure that my children knew that I loved them, even though I didn't get it. So I think it was because I knew what I wanted. And so I displayed it in my children. So growing up, none of my children can say to you that they don't tell their children that they love them. If they don't tell them, it's because they don't want to. It's not because it wasn't reciprocated in the home. Does that make sense? Because growing up, even now, my children, they'll call me. I got a text from one of my boys today that said, I'm just texting you to say I love you. Because that's how I raised them. That's how I taught them, to let that person know that what you're with, that you love them. All right. So love plays a big role in our life. Love controls our mood swings. Love alters how our day goes. You see it in 1,000 books, songs, magazines. The world talks about love. They have love songs. They have R&B that have love songs. If you're watching TV now, good gracious alive, you can't even watch a decent movie without them sexing, or without them feeling each other, or without them kissing, or without them making love. Love is a very broad word, and we need it in our lives to survive. Whether you want to admit it or not, you want somebody to let you know that you're loved. You can jump in at any time. Okay. Psychologist says um, that you need to feel love. It is a primary emotion. It is needed for love. If you have the right love, you will climb mountains, you will cross seas, you will endure untold hardships. But without it, you feel hopeless. Without love, you don't feel like you can climb over the mountains. Without love, you don't feel like you can cross any sea. And these are just some things that I wrote to get us to see how important love is. If you go through a whole day and don't say to me, you love me, I'm sad. I may become depressed. It is an emotion. We need love to survive. Make sure that those around you know that, hey, I love you. Maybe I didn't tell you today, hey, I love you. I love you never hurt anybody, but make sure you mean it when you say it, okay? We can all agree that the word love, sorry, I was writing fast, is needed in human society. Both historically and non-historically, it's said that we still need love. And we can agree it is the most confusing word, but yet we still need it. It can become very confusing, but yet we still need love. All right. Um, Love starts from the moment we are born. Now this thing bugged me out. All right. That was one of the things I wrote. Love start from the moment we were born. So I begin to think, and I said this to my bestie and to my husband today, and y'all don't laugh at me. Most of you on here that had children can attest to this. I did not understand, and my bestie laughed at me, but it's the truth. I could not understand for the life of me why, after a baby is born, you want to put all that blood on me. They just freshly came out, and you want to lay this child on my chest, talking about let us lay the baby here after the baby is pushed out. Do you not know if you would have rejected laying the baby on your chest at that moment, they wouldn't have been able to identify what love is? Something that small, you would not have thought that they really understand what love is, because it's that binding. It's that time for you and that child. It's that time to let that child know, oh my God, my mother really loves me. So that child, your chest is the first chest that that child's lay on. Why they never give it to the father when the baby is born? Why do they always say, here, mommy, you taking to lay this baby on your chest and let this baby lay here for a few minutes? Could it be because before the baby came out the womb, it was already bonding with you? So once it was born, they wanted to continue that bonding time. So you lay that bloody stinking baby on my chest because it smells horrible when it's first born, and you say, I want your chest to be bare. Now you want my chest to be bare. You want me to lay this baby on my chest, but it's so that the baby can hear the heartbeat. It is so that the baby can bond with the mother. Now, with me, for instance, and as I kept doing research, this thing had my mind going today ever since I thought about love last week. Could it be when I was born, because of the way I was born, I didn't have that time? Because the way I was conceived, my mother didn't want to lay me on her chest. My mother didn't like me. She didn't. So could it be that all of the time that I grew up going to foster care and different homes and not being a part of some of the things that I endured in my life was because that first initial touch wasn't presented?
It's possible.
You think that could be possible? I was thinking about that today as I was preparing for the word love. So it is very important. It is very crucial that when a child is born, everything that we go through, this is what I want you to remember. Everything that we go through starts when we're first born, when we're conceived, actually, in your mother's womb, when your mother is carrying you. If she talks to you, some babies come out, they're very alert. If she bonds with you, and then when you are born. So it starts from the time that you are conceived, the time that your mother pushes you out. It starts from that time. Love starts from there, and then it goes with you into adulthood. So how you talk to your child, how you treat your children, how much you tell them you love them, when they go into their adulthood, they're going to remember that. They're going to take it into their marriage. They're going to take it into their relationships. They're going to take it on how they treat women. All of this stems from love, okay? So love is needed. No matter who tells you it's not, love is needed. And it is a part of us that makes us who we are, okay? I wrote this as well. Inside of every child is an emotional tank, and it's waiting to be filled with love. Inside of every child is an emotional tank, and is waiting to be filled with love. When a child really feels love, they will begin to develop properly. It will follow them, as I already said, into their adulthood. But when the love tank is empty, the child will begin to misbehave. Most children that act out is searching for love. Most children that act out going on to into their teenage years, into their, what come after teenagers? Adolescents,
Teenagers, adolescents, young
adolescents,
adults.
and adults. We act out because we did not have this love. So when you hear some young girls, whether it be your mother left you, your father left you, most of the times these young girls is looking for this love. So what do? They go into, and then they start reaching out to these older men or these older women or whatever it may be, because their love tank is empty. There's nothing there to fill up that void. There's nothing there to replenish what was lost. And a lot of times, as I was studying this, it talked about divorce. And I found myself in this when I was going through my divorce with my children. Divorce can cause your child to feel like it was their fault, even if it wasn't their fault. Divorce can make a child question, what did I do wrong to cause this divorce? And then I was also reading, it says, once a parent is divorced, right? And you still have these younger children that's growing up, and then it's been you and your children, and then another person gets involved, whether it be male or female. Now this child really doesn't feel love because they feel like the love that they had, that they were getting from you, now it's being replaced by somebody else. So they start to act out. Maybe you're dating somebody, maybe you have a boyfriend or a girlfriend, and then this child start to act out. It's because that the love is missing. I hope that I'm making sense. And so we need to make sure that we are loving on one another, love on our children. Um, it is love is an emotion, and love covers a multitude of sin. So love covers things that the average thing don't cover. And we need love to survive. Don't feel like, oh, I could do without love. Whether it be a love from your child, whether it be a love from your spouse, whatever it may be. Sometimes us as adults, we act in certain ways, we become moody, we begin to do certain things and seeking attention. It's because we really just want to feel loved. We just want that love. And so I encourage you tonight to find love. That's what I would have to say, and I'm going to let my bestie talk. But I want you to know that it is important to love on who is with you, love on those around you. Teach your children, teach whoever it is, that it is okay to feel love. All right, it's nothing wrong with it. If you're broken, if there's an area in your life that's missing, fill it with love. If you begin to fill that broken area with love, there's nothing that you can't conquer, there's nothing that you can't do. Fill that empty tank with love. How do I do that? Love on yourself. Get up every day. Look yourself in the mirror. Somebody told me to do this every day when I get up. Look myself in the mirror and say, you are beautiful. You are somebody. Those are those affirmations. I am worth it. Don't wait on another person to tell you. I love me because I am beautiful. So begin to fill your tank up with love. That emptiness that you feel inside of you, begin to fill it up with love. Forgiveness. Practice how to forgive and let love in. Let go of the old stuff. Let go of the stuff in the past. Let go of Brother John hurt you or Sister Sally did you wrong. And forgive them and fill up yourself with love, because without love, you will always walk around feeling emptiness. That void that you feel is because you haven't opened up yourself and become vulnerable to find love. It doesn't matter who the love, well, it does matter who the love come from. Let me take that back. It does matter who the love comes from, but get the love from the right sources. So let's begin to fill up our tank. If you don't remember nothing else I said, what is our tank? Our heart, our insides. Let that emotional love come out. It's okay that you were hurt. It's okay that you was disappointed. It's okay that they mistreated you. But let's figure out how we're going to forgive them, and let's move in love. All right. I want you to begin to fill yourself up with love. Speak to yourself on a daily basis. I love me. If nobody else never tell me, I love me. Hello. Good morning, Queen. I love you. It sounds crazy, but you got to let yourself know that you are loved, because unless you know yourself that you are loved, nobody else can love you. So you have to fill up yourself. That empty place that you feel, let's work on filling it with love. That empty void that you feel, let's work on filling it with love. Make sure if you have small children, or if you have children that are growing up, or teenagers that's around you, let them know that you love them. Most of the times, us that have been in foster care, our parents didn't tell us that they loved us. Our parents didn't focus on that part where, oh, I love you, good morning, I love you, good night. Sometimes if we was in the same house, they didn't even say good night to us. They just turned off the lights and they went to bed and just left us. So us that's in foster home, we have a different challenge. Our challenge is not like yours. Our challenge is different because we're already feeling bad because we're in the foster home. But everything that I went through in foster home taught me what not to do with my children. So every time I got a chance, I would hug them. I would let my children know that I love them. I would let them know that they're important. I would let them know that they are somebody, because I wanted to reciprocate what wasn't given to me. So I make sure I give it to others around me. I make sure I share love. I love to give. I want you to answer this question. I'm going to turn it into Apostle. What is your love language? What language do you speak that makes you feel like you're enough, or that makes you feel like you're important, or that makes you feel like I'm worth something, or I am somebody? We all have not arrived there. Some of us have not arrived there, and some of us are still trying to figure out how to get there. Some of us are older, and still does not know what real love feels like, because we have not opened up ourselves and allow ourselves to love on us. So go to the mall, get yourself some new clothes. I love to get my hair, my nails, and my feet done. When it's not done, my bestie can tell you I'm moping. I feel so horrible. I feel like something is missing. But once my hair is done, honey, you can't tell me nothing. Once my nails and my feet is done, I feel like I can run a marathon. That is a part of what makes me who I am. And so healing is an important process. Apostle, you could jump in there.
Heidi says, what if you're at a healing stage where you don't even know how to recognize what love language is anymore? What if you're at a healing stage where you don't even know how to recognize what your love language is anymore?
What if you're at a healing stage?
You're in the healing stage of your life, but you don't know how to recognize what your love language is anymore.
That's a good question. You want me to answer? Because I don't.
Asked. Oh, you don't.
Yeah, I don't. That's what I'm saying. You want to answer? Because I don't want to tell her something that I'm not sure of.
Okay, so she feels like she's at a time of healing. She's in that moment now. This is where I am. I find myself in that part of my life where I'm being healed, but I still don't know what my love language is, because basically she's in a process of being healed, and so it's hard for her to determine what her love language is. And with most people, or with the average person who's in the healing process, it might be that same situation. Is not that I don't think so much that it's that you don't know what it is that you're not ready for what it is. Because if you're healing, that means you're going through other aspects of the process, and so one sometimes seems to overlap or overwhelm. And so what I would say to you is to continue to walk through the healing process. Continue to, if you have a prayer life, talk to God and ask him to continue to heal your heart, knowing that there are going to be other emotions that come out of you while you're in your healing process. And those are some of the other things that Apostle will talk on as we move further on into the weeks. But when you're in that healing process, different emotions that you just never thought were in there is going to pop up because you're healing. So therefore it has to come up and out of you. So sometimes it's overwhelming because you got anger and rage and abandonment, all of them hollering at you at the same time. And you just have to pick which one you're going to deal with first in order for your healing process to be successful. Because you don't want to start, say if it was abandonment, you don't want to start dealing with the aspect of abandonment and then because rage come in, you jump over the rage. No, let's finish dealing with the abandonment issues. And so that way, when you deal with rage, the abandonment issue that's attached to that feeling of being left or dropped is no longer part of the equation because you have been healed from that.
Now, I don't think, and I could be wrong, there's others on here, you can quote me if I'm wrong. I'm going to talk about me. After my divorce, there was stages that I had to go through, but my love language never changed, if that makes sense. Because once I became whole, once I found myself, I still had that same love language. My love language is, it could be touch, it could be feel, it could be verbal, whatever that love language is. I'm still me. I'm just broken, and I have not healed completely.
And don't focus so much on, well, until you're healed, it's kind of hard to really know what that love language is.
Yes. But you had another love language before you got.
Yeah, but you didn't know that that's what it was because it was buried under all of the other stuff you got going on. Hey, Tati. Hey, baby boy. And so, hey, daughter. You just, for everybody is different, Heidi. There are no two people that's doing everything exactly the same. You might have similar situations, but not everybody's doing exactly the same. My love language was giving. I've never had a problem with giving to others. I always went over and above, over and beyond. But, then I would be hurt because it wasn't reciprocated because I just expected that people would appreciate. So, because you don't want to make sure you don't allow people to change your love language. So
I think that's what I was saying. Just because I'm broken, it doesn't mean that my love language changed. You get
right? Because I haven't stopped wanting to be there for other people, but I overcompensated for the fact that I was lacking it. And so, it comes out of each other different ways. Because I don't want you to feel like, because you didn't feel like it my way, that it must have been wrong or you got to look for something else. No, we're different for a reason. And so each of us respond to the word love differently. If any of you went and previewed my live that I did earlier leading up to tonight, it talked about the fact that everybody could be talking about the same word and have about 15 different definitions because it depends on what your life was like growing up, what you experienced since growing up, how it has affected you in a relationship. So everybody's going to have a different facet of what they believe love is. Some is toxic, but for you who knows that that's toxic, if that's all that person knew, then you're the one who's toxic because you're trying to change what they identify as love. And that's why it's hard for them to get the real deal in there because all they know is toxicity. So if they've seen nothing else as an example, it's kind of hard. They would think that the thing that's real is the craziness because it's unlike anything that they've ever experienced.
And that's why I was saying it starts from your childhood. However you were treated in your childhood, everything that we go through stems from our younger selves. It spills over into where we are now as humans. It follows us into our adulthood. So I never stopped knowing how to love. My love was turned off because I was hurt by what was done to me, if that makes sense. So I never stopped loving because even though I was going through a divorce, I still love my children, but it was a different type of love. I didn't have that same love or compassion for my ex anymore because I was damaged or I was hurt. So I still love, but it was just a different way of loving.
It was in a different, I get that, So, but for some people, if you never had it, you can't show it. You can give an idea of what you believe it is, but most of us govern ourselves based on what we're used to or what happened to us or what we saw happening, and so when we have the opportunity to walk in it for itself, when you have the ability to walk in it for yourself, sometimes it's hard for you to hold on to it because it's so new. It's like I never experienced this before, so it's hard for me to explain to you what I'm feeling, more or less how to give more of it because it's making me feel so good. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Baby, what Elder Reggie says, it's not okay that they mistreated me. He don't play about me at all, but I do try to remain quick to forgive and reconcile, because being unforgiving is a burden too heavy to carry, especially over time. It becomes more taxing, and I'll lose myself in pieces over time. Did you want to say something?
I'm sorry, say it one more time. Somebody was.
You read it. I'm asking
me.
you
I didn't read the whole thing. I stopped at unforgiving.
It's not okay that they mistreated me. He don't play about me at all, but I do try to remain quick to forgive and reconcile, because being unforgiving is a burden too heavy to carry, especially over time. It becomes more taxing, and I'll lose myself in pieces over time.
So it's important. We talked about that, I think, last week on forgiveness. It's important to forgive, because once you get stuck on what somebody has done to you, or how somebody has mishandled you or mistreated you, you're going to miss every time what God is trying to do. It's not okay that you mishandled me. It's not okay if I'm understanding that you've done what you did to me, and God don't play about me, so he can handle it better than I can. So that's what yeah.
And so we want everybody to understand that it's not okay that you mistreated me. It's just not. Everybody is somebody to God if they're not to anybody else. And God does not play with what he calls his own. And so since he created all of us after his image, we are his. And so we have to be careful how we are handled, and we have to be careful how we handle others. So it is not okay that you mistreated me. But in essence, what this is saying is,
I forgive you.
I have to forgive you, because if I stay focused on what you did to me, it's going to become overwhelming. I'm taking it into other facets of my life, which is eating at me bit by bit. So by me not being able to forgive you and carrying it with me, it over time, I lose all of who I am. We tell people all the time in counseling, don't lose yourself. Just because you're in a relationship does not mean you have to forget who you are. You just have to know when to use it. You don't have to go away. You just got to know when to step in.
Right.
And so it is definitely important that people really understand that when they're mistreating you, they're mistreating more than that. And if I don't say anything to you at this time, trust it's going to be handled. And so that's where we go it off. Sometimes when we say pick and choose your battles. If I already know God said vengeance is his, right? So if he's telling me to give it to him and he's going to handle it, then I have to trust he's going to do that. Now, does it get tiresome? Yes. Does it get frustrating? Yes. At some point, and here's those words we use a lot, is that because people think I'm a punk because I'm not saying nothing. When in essence, what I'm saying is, you got that, I forgive you because you surely don't know what you're doing. Jesus said, forgive them for they know not what they do. With everything that they did to him, the first thing he said when he went to his father about what they did was forgive them. He didn't focus on that it happened to him. He focused on the people being forgiven and not having to pay in fullness for what they did to him. And so this is a deep statement. It's really something that a lot of people overlook. We're looking for all these great words in the Bible to make people believe, in what we believe, or believe that our way is the way, when the truth of the matter is, no matter what you're doing, if forgiveness is not a part of it, then it's null and void.
And if Jesus forgave, who are we?
That's what I'm saying. It's null and void. You there's no way you're making it into heaven with unforgiveness. I'm not saying it. The word says it. You're just not getting there, because that's one of the prerequisites. We talked about that in church. That's one of the prerequisites. He's not going to ask you about them. He's going to ask you about your response to them. And so now we have to make sure that we're not reactionary, but that we respond. Tanisha says, how will you deal with those emotions one by one?
Just like that, one by one. Just like peeling the fruit. You peel this. Well, for me, I don't like the skin on apples. So before I eat the apple, I peel the skin off. So there's a layer to each emotion that you have. You just got to be able to identify with the emotion and peel it off as you go. If it's hatred, you deal with it. If it's hurt, you deal with that hurt. You find some way to be able to deal with it, whatever that emotion is. And we have a lot of emotions. It's more than 7, but that's just what those we're going to deal with, because some of us need to understand until we deal with ourselves and those emotions, we're not going to be good for nobody else. And we got to want to be able to deal with the
I was
emotion.
going to say, you got to want to be ready for it. When I asked God to heal me in the midst of my divorce, or in my beginning stages, my first few years of being divorced, and I asked God to heal me, I did not know that in asking him to heal me, that all of the stuff that was attached to the things that had been done were going to come up, like the anger and the rage and, the disappointment and the betrayal, not just, and it wasn't just the divorce. When I asked God to heal me, he was healing me from childhood all the way through the divorce. So it wasn't like it was everything just because of the marriage. So I don't want anybody to get that twisted. That's not what I'm saying. When you ask God to heal you and your mind and your heart are with one accord, when he starts healing you, all of that stuff you didn't get to face while you were going through it, the hatred that you felt when somebody violated you or mishandled you, the feelings that the anger that you felt about feeling like somebody dropped you or abandoned, all of it, it just hit me like a ton of bricks. And I did not know what to do with all of those things at once. I thought I had to deal with them all at once. And then I learned through prayer and guidance of the Father that I could do one by one. I'm going to tell you what my therapist just gave me recently for an assignment, Tanasia, to answer that even better. How will you deal with them one by one? Just like Apostle said, one by one. If you feeling abandoned, what you need to do is journal. We journal. We big on journaling over here. Writing it out does one thing first and foremost. It forces you to deal with what you're going through because you're writing about it, which means you have to remember it in order to write it.
Yes.
You can't forgive what you can't see. And so you got to write it and allow yourself those feelings that come along with it. There are many pages in my journal that's full of teardrops. Don't wipe your eyes. Let the teardrops fall on those pages. So that one day when you are feeling like you are finally free and you go back and look at this stuff and you can see how far you've come in those teardrops that are no longer there when you talk about it. And you have to become it. I'm learning that. You have to become it. So if abandonment is what you're dealing with right now, you want to become that word. What is abandonment? And then you want to write to that word. You want to write to abandonment and tell it what it made you feel like.
Tell it where to go.
Yeah, but you got to write it. you got to first address it. So it comes back to what you're saying about confronting, or first thing you do is confess that there's an issue.
Yes, you have
and
to
so if you're talking about love and you want to do one by one, you have to face that issue for what it is. You're not sugarcoating it. This is what it is. This is how it made me feel. This is where it made me want to go. This is how long it took me to be free. Once I got free, this made me feel. And now you don't live here anymore.
Yes, there is. Oh, it went black. I thought we lost it. There is certain phases in our lives that we go through. And for each stage, like Apostle said, we got to write it. Today, I'm feeling this. This is what happened to me. This is why I am here. I come to find out that, so I had this kit, right, that I was supposed to have been sending off to find out who my father is, because I never knew my father. That was one of my abandonment issues. That was one of my emptinesses that I had to deal with. My tank was empty because I never knew who my biological father was. I have people that I call my father, I have people that I call my dad, but nobody takes the place of that biological father. And I wanted to know. But guess what? Prophetess Ayana talked about this yesterday on her live. Fear gripped me. And I still have that thing sitting upstairs somewhere. I don't even know where it's at. And I never sent it off because of that, what I'm afraid will happen once I find out who he is. So I'm not resembling that love that I'm telling you that I have to have, because regardless to how I got here or how it happened, he's still my father. So I'm going to take the initiative by next week and I'm going to send it off, because I can't tell you to do something that I'm afraid to do. So I'm talking about those different emotions. that Elder in Training was talking about. These are things that we have to face and we have to go through as we're peeling off these layers. So my first thing was, one, I had to admit that I was scared to find out who he was, because what if he not even here no more? Then that's another emotion that I got to deal with, because he was much older than my mother. All right. And two, I have to send it off. How do I know whether he alive or dead if I don't send it off, because I'm afraid of what's going to happen if I send it off? Does that make sense?
We pray
Tika? So yeah.
Prophetess Kai says, I feel that in that stage, time spent with the right person and time spent will teach you what it is, because they're taking time to learn you and it pertains to you, which allows them to know and you to know what love language is, what your love language is. I'll read it again.
Absolutely.
Oh, okay, you got it. All right.
Absolutely. I feel like the right person that will come along and you'll be like, oh my God, this was my love language. And you'll never know. A lot of us have love languages that we don't even know that we have, because the right person have not come along to bring out that love language.
And it's not always
and
sex.
It's not always sex. It's not always sex. Like, I love to give. I love to see people smile. I love to make people pretty and make them feel good. That's a part of my love language. That's who I am. I love to do hair. I love to, dress. All of these things. It's the simplest thing that you wouldn't even think was a love language. So yes, the right person will bring out that love language, and you will love them for life. Trust me. You will, because they teach you how to love. Excuse me.
My love language is shown by my actions. I treat my husband how I would want to be treated.
That's what you're supposed to do. God help us.
And God help all you married young ladies and men. Yeah, you're supposed to love each other through it all. In the midst of, long story short, like, love each other no matter what.
No matter
and
what.
As frustrating as you are, as frustrated as it is, and as angry as you are, just walking away from it is not always the option. Even though I'm a divorcee, that's just not the first thing that I suggest to anybody else, because I love marriage. I really believe in the institution of marriage, and so I would never just, like, first and foremost say, nope, divorce them. That's just not it. Now, if you crazy on here, hey son, and you acting stupid, of course I'm not going to try to talk you into staying into something toxic. But sometimes we get angry because our love is not received the way that we think that we are portraying it. And so I might feel like me doing such and such is showing you how much I really love you, and in essence it could be irritating you. And so then what do we do then, when my love language is offensive? That's a whole nother lie.
Sick in the head.
That's a whole nother lie. But it's so easy to happen. You know why? Because again, we talk about the fact of those who grew up in this crazy life of toxicity. When you start doing something nice, they don't know what you're talking about.
That's true too. And then they feel like you're trying to get them.
Right. They like, what's up with this? This too good to be true. Because this ain't what I'm familiar with. My mother said she loved me. My father said they love me. My uncle said he loved me. He said that what he was doing was love. When you grow up in craziness, and then here comes somebody, a godsend that you 9 times out of 10 pushed out the way because it didn't look like what you were used to. You never get to really fully experience it, because what I know as love is not what this looks like, and I need to know what you're trying to prove.
Is it a game?
Yeah, like what?
That's true.
It's like they're waiting for the floor to fall from under them, because they can't believe it, because this is not what I'm used to when I look at the word love. And this is why I said, no matter what book you look it up, what dictionary, however you research it, definitely I got a bunch of them that I'm gonna read before it's all over. But no matter what they say, your true life identity with the word love does not always match the definition. And so we have to get to that place where we're able to help folks who are just like right there. Some of us, our parents called us ruined because they just got us everything they wanted. Well, I hate to bust your bubble, but just because you had a parent that gave you everything you wanted does not mean they loved you.
No, that was just their love language, and they didn't know how to say. That's what I was saying in the beginning. My foster home, my parents never told me and my brother and them, "I love you." So I don't even know how I become so mushy and so
And
lovable. I guess it's just in me because I reciprocate what I want. So I made sure that all my children, I told them that I love them. Anything that's connected to me, even now I say it, I love you, because I want you to get what I didn't receive. So that is so very true. When growing up in certain homes and you don't have it, you don't know how to reciprocate what you didn't get.
And then you overcompensate, and then overcompensating, people tend to take advantage of you, because you just keep doing, and you're truly doing it out of the right motive, but they're receiving it in another. Well, I see if all I gotta say is this, then, and I know that person's going to get it. What am I going to spend money on it for? Whatever. All I gotta do is mention it around this person, and that still happens to you to this day.
It does. It does.
We're not even gonna go there. But when you find someone who love is all they want to do, you got to protect them and you got to guard them, even if it means it's yourself. Like I said, I have said many times on Loving the Me I See, for many years of my life, I just did things because I wanted to be loved. I wanted to be received. I wanted to be accepted. I wanted to be part of, because, I was this little girl who went to church 7 days out of the doggone week, was in church while the sun was still out and everybody was jumping rope, but I just didn't. Once my dad died, it was like I didn't think love was going to be there again.
Can you pass me that phone? I need to respond to my father.
Excuse me, y'all.
Thank you.
I just didn't think that love was going to be there again because my father was just my world.
Yeah.
And so when he died, I just literally tried to get in the casket with him. I didn't want him to leave me. I didn't understand why, he would leave me at this stage of my life where I was just, getting to know who he was. And so, for many years thereafter, I had daddy issues. And so, I was doing some crazy stuff, because then people come in and they say, oh, I'm going to be there for you. Your father not here no more. So I'm going to do that for you. And you found out that what they was doing was not what your father was going to do. And so when you are at that young of an age, because that was like 9, 10 years old, and that's what you're starting to see people say is love, it's kind of hard when somebody just wants to really be there for you and let you know that, I'm not going anywhere. I don't want anything from you. I just want to be able
and then you start
to make
doing
you
dumb stuff.
Yes.
Like you start, let me see if I do this, if they're going to respond this way, or let me see if I say this, and then you end up really what if they don't have that strength to stick in there because you pushed them away?
What if? Tanasia says, I feel like I have a lot of emotions packed on top of each other, but don't know how to deal with them.
Oh, we read that one.
I did? No, she asked it differently up there.
Oh.
She asked how you deal with them one by one
okay.
up here. But again, Tanasia.
I'm going to make it on time one of these days. It's okay, Tati. You still here? It's okay. You made it.
You
Zaire let you join the live
Tanasia,
tonight.
You let me read it right. I feel like you do have a lot of emotions. We know that because we're with you all the time. You do have a lot of emotions. But again, I'll say to you on here that I say to everyone out loud, as well as now Apostle reiterates this statement: until your heart and your mind are with one accord, no true healing can take place, because you still have a war going on and God's not going to force himself in there. And so your heart and your mind must be with one accord, both saying the same thing. I want healing. I want to be a better me for me, not for anybody else, but I want to be a better me for me. If I can be a better me for me, then I can handle everybody else. But I have to first become whole. And in order to do that, we have to unpack these bags. But don't go to your, let's give you this picture. Let's go to the laundromat. Now, my bestie don't like that. I like to fold my clothes.
I don't even
down to the last thing. I fold everything.
I mean, everything, y'all, even the socks.
Everything. I fold everything. And when I get home, I don't dump it on the bed. I put it away. But there are those who go to the laundromat, and then when they come home, they just dump everything on the bed. And now you're getting frustrated because you might not put it away right away. So now you done went through your day. You come back, oh man, I can't even lay down on the bed and now you just tossing stuff. That's what people tend to do with their emotions when they don't unpack them properly. Don't dump. Sort it out. Color for color. Sort it out. And do one by one. Today I'm going to deal with this. If tomorrow come and I haven't finished with yesterday, we're going to continue on. But I'm not going to try to open up something new and I haven't finished what is old. We tell people all the time, if you want, well, I used to say to one of my other daughters, because they used to always say, I want some new clothes. I said, well, then empty out the old clothes. Make room for what you're asking for. So if you want to unpack, you have to unpack in an orderly fashion, and deal with it and not try to overstep or go to the head of the class because you're bound to miss something. Just like when it comes to your children being skipped in school, even though they're being skipped because their intelligence level says this is where they need to be, there's something in that level that they're getting skipped over that they're going to miss because they thought they were too intelligent to hang them through that whole class or that whole year in that next grade. They felt like they should have been. So there's still something you lose in the process. So take your time. Don't rush yourself. And just keep God in it. Be honest. Be willing to be honest with yourself. Some of the things that we face is our own fault. And so not everything everybody's saying is a lie. Some of it is true. And we have to deal with it. And if we're going to be wholesome individuals and we're going to be there and we want to have a love language that we can prove to be successful, then we want to make sure that what we're doing is without an agenda, which means that I'm who I already need to be. I don't need nothing. I'm doing this because I just want to love, not because I'm looking, because if you keep on waiting for stuff to come back, your feelings going to be hurt. Because don't do it just to see what you're going to get back. If you're doing it and you're doing it in love, I had somebody that used to hang stuff over my head all the time if I didn't want to do something. Oh, well, I did this for y'all and I did this for you and your family. And now you're doing stuff out of obligation, which stores resentment down within. So if you're going to do it, if you're doing this for me, please make sure you're doing it in the right intention and don't get mad because I can't return the same way. Because we live in two different lives. That's the part I'm talking about. And we live in two different lives. When you did it, you knew I was down on my luck. So why would you keep holding it over me like that? And if that's the only reason why you did it, so you could keep control over me, I'm sorry, I'm about to break your feelings. So a lot comes with unpacking, Tanisha, but you got to do it. You'll be all right, Todd. I know she said that to you already, but I just read what you said. But the fact that you still keep trying means more than you know. You could always go back and revisit. Right one? All right. My other daughter says, in the years, I have become careful with people because I love everyone. It's easy to be taken advantage of by people instead of them actually seeing your love and loving you back. It's used to their advantage.
It is. That's what you just said. They don't know how to love you back. Some people don't even do it intentionally. They just don't know how to return it. They just
like to get.
And yeah.
As long as they're getting, we're good. But when you run out, they don't know where you at. Right. I had to say that to my godson. Like, you got to look at what's in your circle Every time you down on your luck, everybody's gone. They don't know where you live. They don't ask you if you want to come hang out. They don't want to ask you if you want to go get nothing to eat. But as soon as you back up on your legs, then they want to be with you all day. They suck up everything that you got, and then once they drain you of it, they disappear again. And that's not even a real friendship, but it's definitely not love. And so only when we come to ourselves and realize that we are worth what we're asking for, will we be able to know when people are not doing justice by us. And it took me a lot of years. So, my one of my desires, as I say to the young ladies all the time, I'm just trying to help y'all so that y'all don't have to stay in it as long as I did. Mm-hmm. That's my job. Mm-hmm. If I see that that's where you are, I got to let you know, hey, I was there. Yeah. You don't want to do that. You don't want to do that, because I found myself riding on hope for a lot of years, and I'm still not with that person. Yeah. And so my job is to make sure you don't do what I did for as long as I did. When I know I'm looking at you and seeing that's not going to be beneficial. Love is an action word, and it should show some type of positivity. Love should not hurt. Now, people say love don't hurt, but I'm here to let you know that depending on how far in love you was with somebody, it hurts when they break up, whether it was intentional or not. You're not going to say, oh, I'm so happy you broke up with me. You're just not going to do it.
Not if you love them the right way.
So just to, give that rash statement, love doesn't hurt. Yeah, sometimes it does. And let's go back to Jesus. Why wouldn't we? Love hurt. Meat sliced open. Love hurt.
So much so he died on the cross.
Thorns in his head with blood running down his face. Mm-hmm. Love hurts. He loved so we could. And it hurt. So much so he finally said, Father, have you forsaken me? Why? So we just have to be more mindful. Love is a powerful word. It can build or it can kill. You have to decide which one it's going to do. Baby boy says, how about fully healing before pursuing it? That's what I be saying, baby boy. People talking about a half. No, be whole first before you come to me. Because I got enough beatings being half. I need somebody whole. That's why I'm still working on me. I want to make sure that I'm good, so that should that individual, forget those who are pursuing me, I'm talking about the one who finally is it. I want to make sure that I'm not the reason that they hurt in any way. So that means I need to be whole. No baggage, nothing left from before. I've given it to God. He's helped me walk through it. I done wrote about it. I done sung about it. And now I need to be free and whole for the next person. You must know yourself and what you need, like, and don't like, in order to effectively teach or express it to your significant other. This is what I'm saying. You cannot have unspoken expectations of somebody and get mad because they don't come through. Mm-hmm. We mitigate encountering certain hurdles completely if we would just take time to properly do things. Oftentimes, we just want what we want when we want it. Couldn't have said it better. If I want something, I'm not trying to wait forever. I really want it like right now. Have I gotten better with the fact of knowing I just, even though I want it now, I got to realize that something else might be more important and it might have to wait a little while, or that God is saying, even though you want it, I don't think you're ready.
I think that if we be honest with ourselves, we wouldn't go through so many relationships. Because we are not healed and we're getting in these relationships, and most of the times, male or female, depending on which one it is, don't have the same strength that I have to stay and deal with your foolishness. I just don't have the strength for that. So because everything that looks similar is not the same. So because I tied my shoe the same way your ex used to tie it, you gonna get mad and flip out on me because he used 2 bunny ears to tie his shoe versus tying it with one. Like what? Just stuff like that. Or because you left the top off the toothpaste and my ex did the same thing. Now I'm blacking on you, and then when I come to be like, oh, you wasn't even the same person. Like you need to, elder. I'm gonna send you an offering. You need to heal first. You need to be healed before you try to pursue, because you're gonna kill the person that you're trying to pursue.
I'm telling you now. Hey Shay, I have this scar on my hand, and people ask me how it got there. I always say I do not know how it happened. Someone told me I do not remember because it was something traumatic that blocked it out to the point I do not remember.
You remember?
Now let me, and I still say that. That's real life for me, Shay. Not many people have I heard say that. And I've been saying to my bestie, I've been saying it to the therapist. I know that I was born. I know that I was somebody's child, and I'm not being funny, and I'm saying it like that because I truly want you to understand where I am. My life does not make sense to me until I'm 9 years old. Something happened.
Do you think you will
something happened? Something happened. Something very traumatic happened in my life, and I blocked it. I have not, before now, when I say before now, in these last few years that I started saying it to my bestie, have not tried to figure it out. I don't even know if it's safe to figure it out, because if I had to block it like that, it really did me some harm.
Well, so from age 1 to 9, you're saying?
So like my mom had pictures of me sitting on the porch with my sister. Yeah, I was like 1 or 2 years old. I remember Sunday school, being in the primary class. I don't remember being in the Me Too class, the beginner, you know what I'm saying? The beginners class. I remember primary class and junior class and intermediate. Like, I remember all of that. There's a big gap in my life that I cannot find the pieces to. And because of the way in which my mom and them were raised, we weren't going to talk about it. Whatever it is, it happened. It's going to stay here, and that's where it's going to die, right here with us. And so, literally, that's what has happened, because I don't know. And so the therapist is like, well, do you really want to investigate it? And I had to honestly say I'm unsure. I was almost at peace until I realized in writing the books, this is what's hindering some of the book writing, is because I can't write about what I can't remember.
So now that you said it like that, now this is just a question. How many of us really can remember those ages though?
You can remember. You don't have to be able to remember a number, but you can remember what happened. So I'm putting it between that, because I could tell you that Miss Hart was my first grade teacher.
Oh, no more than me. Okay.
Miss Hart was my first grade teacher. So that puts me at what, 4 or 5 years old?
First grade? No, you're like 7.
I was early. And then my next teacher is Miss Palumbo. Miss Palumbo was my 4th grade teacher.
I remember my 4th grade teacher.
Yeah, but what happened to my 2nd and 3rd grade teacher?
Oh, wow.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like there's an aspect of life that happened that I cannot remember. And so, Shay, it's a real thing. And I would say to you to make sure that you seek help if you're going to try to find this out, because you want to make sure. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't want to tell you not to try to find out, because for everybody it's different. But I want to say, don't try to find out on your own. If it was that traumatic, you don't want to be by yourself when it comes to life. You want to be with somebody that can actually walk you through. We can pray you through. We can tell you what Jesus is going to do. But I say you need Jesus and a therapist. You know what I'm saying? Because I want somebody that's going to talk to me after I leave church. I don't want Jesus to show up in my room every day because I don't think I would live to tell y'all about it. You understand? Let's just be real. I need somebody earthly, that I can talk to, because if Jesus show up in my room, talk about, let's talk about it. Y'all ain't gonna have to wonder how I left here. Hey, Minister Shanita. But Shay, I'm telling you that it is a real place, and yes, something did happen. And when we're at a low place, it is not the wisest time to go digging. You want to heal from where you are, and in the process, it might open that door. So every time I go to therapy, I'm like, Lord, is it going to be today? And so I'm kind of like causing my own anxieties, because I know that it's inevitable that eventually it's going to come out. I just don't want to be in a place where my children find out the way I found out about my mom, the different things that my mom went through, finding out when they're on their way out. Mm-hmm. And so I stopped asking God, to be honest. I stopped asking God what happened, and instead I started asking God to help me be ready when it comes. So yeah, love can cause you to do some crazy things. Love can cause you to do some crazy things. And that's why I said love is different to everybody. Hey, Dom. Love is different to everybody. Hey, Dom. Hey, Rob. Love is different. Chick. Depending on how you grew up, love is different. Depending on how situations were handled, would be totally different for your definition of love. And so you can't get upset with people because they don't understand how you love so hard, or they don't understand how you are able to forgive so easily. If you grew up in a very good, loving home, forgiveness is not really that hard to believe. But for those of us who only know love through toxicity, there was a message that was preached about being addicted to pain. There are some people that are just addicted to pain. That's what they believe love is. This person must love me because they do this to make sure that I don't go with nobody else, or they do this to make sure that I can't get it done with nobody but them. That's not love. That's control and manipulation. And so we want to redefine love for you in that sense, in that situation. We would love for you to really find out what true love feels like when it's not beating you down. Mm-hmm. And sometimes we feel like that's what we deserve. And that still goes back to the love that we either did or did not receive in the proper way growing up, to make us feel like this is the only way we know that they love us. Right. Is because they do this. And if we can't brag about the fact that this is what they do, then you already still know that it's something wrong about the way that they're loving you. So, Shay, I hope I made sense to you, but I tell anybody, I don't care who know, but I definitely promote not just the church, but therapy. Mm-hmm. Because in this day and time where people are looking to heal from their past, they're going to need somebody. They're going to need somebody. And not everybody's able to handle your go through. I think that if people would do, if you're talking to me and it's too much for me, which is rare, but when it's too much for me, I'll be like, you know what? This is a lot for me. Do you mind if I share it with, because sometimes it's just overwhelming. It's an abundance of things. And if people would be honest while you're talking to them, instead of just getting your business to go tell the next person, if they would just be honest, like, you know what, let me stop you right here, because this is getting to be a bit heavy and I don't know if I can handle it. I think that there would be more peace. I think that there would be more acceptable love. I think that there would be more forgiveness to go around the table, because people are honest enough to say, hey, this is too much for me. Let me redirect you, or can we bring somebody else in on this, and it just remain amongst us instead of just going and talking about somebody's life, because you can't say that I can't handle what they told me. This is a lot. Everybody has somebody. So just like that's your confidant has a confidant. So how you know they're not telling them? That's a whole nother school.
Right.
I can't remember much. Oh, this would be Apostle. She said, I can't remember much because I was always in a different foster home.
Well, I thank God that I only had to go through one, but just being in the foster home is a lot. Once they placed me in the foster home where my mom was, I didn't have to go to another one. I stayed there for majority of my time. So I don't have the testimony of going from foster home to foster home, but I can identify with being in a foster home, and it is not easy. And so sometimes memory block is good. You don't want to have to know, because it could have been something that happened to you when you were in one of those foster homes. God could be shielding you from something. You just never know. But Apostle got me thinking now, because I was trying to remember when I was 1 and 2 years old. What was I can't remember, because I was from the hospital, out my mom's womb, from the hospital to my godmother, which was my foster care, taking care of me majority of my life, and I would go back and forth between foster care, and they would pick me up and take me to visit my mom. Then I would be back. So yeah, sometimes memory fog is good. But I remember actually I still talk to my fourth grade teacher. Her birthday was July 19th, and I said happy birthday to her, and she's my oldest daughter godmother. So I still keep in contact with my fourth grade teacher. But
why? Because that
yeah,
fourth grade teacher spent time knowing who you were.
yes, she did.
And our parents used to say, don't let no little girl sit on no man. You don't think that stuff comes from somewhere? Stuff happened, y'all. Stuff happened. And so
I understand why now not to sit on.
sometimes it's just best that we don't know. That's what I say. I'm not sure I want to know, because I couldn't remember it. I didn't factor it into anything else that I've been going through. I just went through based on what has happened from what I could remember. And so, yeah, third grade is that starting point for me where I was very developed for my age. And so there were those who thought they would let me know. And so I'll put it there like that. And back then, even though I told my mom, because the adults said no, it wasn't so, that's who was believed. So me and my mom's relationship suffered a lot because of that. It does bother me sometimes, and it will from time. But Shanae, all I can say is that as an aspect, I would definitely say go before God. Spend some quality time with the Father, asking Him to help you heal. Because when you start now adding into the equation what you're dealing with health wise, it does crazy stuff to your psyche. I'm telling you. So I would say to you to increase your prayer life and ask God to help you understand and to guide and redirect you. And He will do just that. He really will. I'm a witness. He will do just that. That's why I say I don't know, even though it's something, excuse me, that I mentioned to my therapist, the fact that the therapist is giving me the choice as to, whether, because that's what she said, it may be so devastating that you might not be able to bounce back from it. So is that something you want to investigate, or do we just want it on paper that you know that this? And so you go from there. But there are scars that people are carrying around, invisible scars, and they need healing. And I believe that, just like Elder Reggie said, and like my bestie and I say all the time, you need to really get healed from the inside out for yourself before trying to match yourself with another person. You wondering why you can't hold on to no man, or you wondering why you can't hold on to that woman. It's because you still have some unresolved issues, and you're forcing that person to have to deal with them. And it's unfair, because they're the new kid on the block, for lack of better wording. So why should the new kid on the block have to suffer for the person who used to live next door. Like, why? Get whole. Be just whole. I remember most of my younger years. God bless you.
Not me, honey.
God bless you. Some people don't even want to remember.
Tika, you remember all them bowls I used to put in your hair?
I know my daughter remember them bowls. I kept her real girly. Them frilly socks.
I do want to say to you guys, let's practice. I'm going to make a t-shirt. It's going to be for loving to me I see. I want to see how many of y'all going to buy it. It's going to say healing.
Hey, time.
It's going to say healing plus Jesus. Healing plus therapy equals Jesus. Healing plus therapy equals Jesus. All right. I'm going to need y'all to buy this shirt and I'm going to need y'all to wear it with love. Okay. And the shirt is going to be on sale for $12. And the portion of it is going to go to Loving to Me I See. Some of us need to get therapy in Jesus and everything else will fall in line. Everything else will be okay.
Therapy has been a blessing to me and I'm not ashamed of it at all. I used to think that going to therapy would mean that I'm crazy, but I found out that going to therapy is what keeps you from going crazy. And so just having that outlet that you could just say any and everything you feeling with no condemnation. You know, you should be able to do that in the church, but you can't, because right now if you do that in the church, they trying to expose you on Facebook and stuff like that. You know, so being able to go and sit with somebody and just really, it's hard. Even there, they say, well, why are you having a hard time loving yourself? You know, and it's you working so hard at making sure everybody else feels loved and like they feel appreciated, you know, but you owe yourself the same time. Tanasia said, my cousin called the cops on me because I stole her Reese's Pieces. And they really came. I was like 8 or 9 years old. I would be traumatized. Cops coming to me for Reese's Pieces. What?
What? Did they really come?
She said they came. She said they really came. That's what she said.
Well, what did they do, though?
Oh, my gosh. Ooh, when they left. What I would have done. Tika, Elder Reggie say he's sorry to laugh, but he had to read it twice. I don't know what I would have done if cops showed up at my house talking about they're going to get me because I got somebody's Reese's Pieces. Ooh, not even security guards. Cops came. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yes, and those curls, girl. You was cute.
That's why I started back crocheting, because I've been battling in the mind and overthinking so much. And it kind of takes my mind off things for a while. Whatever works. Blessings, sir. Whatever works. I do, well, you know now, because I posted when those of you can go on my page, you know, I've been doing diamond painting for a while now to keep me centered. But my spiritual daughter was over one time and she was like, you need to be selling these things. This is amazing. And da-da-da-da. So I decided that I would attempt to try to sell them, not just for my own gain, but in the name of Loving to Me I See. There are some outreach things that we want to do. We're still trying to come live for real, like with an audience in front of us. You know, we've been talking about that for at least 2 years, you know, and so that's what we're doing now. I'm doing the work and you pay for the labor. That's all. And the money goes toward what we're planning to do for Loving to Me I See and Broken Crayons Still Color. We have several things that we're working together with. That is Loving to Me I See, Broken Crayons Still Color, and Banner, Battered, Abused, But Not Abandoned Women's Ministry. We do things. We have workshops. We have, you know, chat and choose. You know, we do those things like that. And so those monies that come in for those items, that's what we would be using them for. So if you've ever been on my page and I said, this could be yours, like my recent one today, I think is of New York City. And I finally finished it. My bestie got that one for me and I finally finished it. And so now I'm doing them and I'm selling them. But now this little paint by number thing got me going bananas. I don't know how they think you can see them small numbers and them small spots, but I'm attempting it. But yeah, we're doing different things to promote Loving the Me I See, Broken Crayon Still Color, and Banner, Battered, Abused, but Not Abandoned. So, keep following us and our regular business. We got a lot of stuff going on. Um, but Shay, that's good. That's one thing that they tell you to do in therapy. Find something that makes you feel like you're in your safe place. And so for me, when I'm on one level of the house, I'm doing diamond painting, and when I'm on another level of the house, which is in my bedroom, I'm doing puzzles. I put 750 and 1,000 piece and 1,500 piece puzzles together, and then I shellac them, and they're ready for sale. And that's what I do to keep me together. And then I always have on the television upstairs. It's in my room, but not in the room where my bed is, because I have a two entry room, and so it's in there where I can hear relaxing music. I start off with hearing preaching, and I finish the night off with relaxing music that plays until the next day. Some of it is jazz, some of it is instrumental gospel music, and it's just soothing and it's relaxing. I have a waterfall thing that I haven't used yet, but just things that would bring serenity in the room where you are. Certain fragrances, lavender, vanilla, for my bestie, strawberry pound cake. I ain't gonna tell y'all her newest because we don't want nobody going running and get about it. But just different things that would allow you to center yourself back into yourself. I want you to get used to the fact of telling yourself that you are loved. You deserve to be loved, and that you are beautiful. That you deserve to be loved because you are enough. You deserve to be loved because you are capable and you are kind. Some things that you can affirm yourself with. Love is about building and not tearing down. So you should have things posted in different places in your home that would remind you, even on your worst day, that something about you is worth loving. And I think that's very important. Very important. I spent a lot of time building my bestie up when I first met her, because she just was a ball of love being mishandled. Um, and she just needed to know that she deserved to be treated as well as she was treating others. And I don't regret it. We're still together, going on 15 now years. People said it wouldn't last, and people had all kinds of things on our relationship, but God knew what He was doing, and we do ministry and we work well together.
And we are the product of you can make it work if you want to make it work. When my bestie first came along, I was one of the ones that I gave her a hard way to go because I felt like she was going to hurt me and leave like everybody else did. Everybody else that called me their best friend. And it was never a two-way street. It was always a one-way. It was me doing, and I was never getting in return. Or they would say little things like, I want this, or I need this, and because they knew that I would do it, then they would play on that, and then they would get what they want from me, and then they would leave me out to dry. And my bestie never did that, and we were there for one another. If she needed something, like right now, I'm her home health aide. She lives with us, and I make sure she has everything that she need, everything that she say she want. I try to get it. Sometimes she don't say it because she know I don't got it, but I can read her mind most of the times. And I try to make sure she have it. This is her anniversary month, so my desire was to make sure that every Sunday she had a new dress. And so far, I have made sure that every Sunday she has something new to wear. This is just things that we do to remind each other that we got each other. So everybody needs a true friend in their life that's going to hold them accountable. I look at Shanae and Pastor Denson. I love the way that they are growing together, how God has blessed their friendship and them being besties, Tika and Ayana. So there's certain ones that's following in our footsteps, and I thank God for it, because we have taught others that you can really have a real friendship and somebody can really love you for real, and you're gonna be okay.
And ain't nothing warped about the relationship.
About it, and it ain't contaminated. It's just real, true friendship. We just have to know what we have, in our corner.
That's like both my daughters, but my daughter Danielle has my spiritual daughter, Pastor Jessica. They're besties. My firstborn, Kai, has two people that she could, say that with, and I'm not gonna name names so don't nobody get offended because they might still be online. I know who the two people are. They may not know they the two people, but I know who the two people are. Kind of like ride or die people for years, and so um, go through your stuff, your isms and schisms. You're not posting about each other on Facebook and all that stuff. You're keeping it within. You're dealing with it within. And when you're in the public, you have a united front no matter what. And it love just does that for you. Love helps that be maintained. One thing we said as our relationship as friends grew was like nobody could break us up unless we allow it. Which means that when you come to me and you saying something she said, that don't even sound like her. Like, I'm not even going to go there. And then we laugh about it. I'm like, so-and-so tried to tell me, and she'll be like, so-and-so tried to, and no, you won't get that here. You won't get it. Let's see with Dime. It's been a while, long time no see.
Are you still on here, Dime?
I have a fear for therapy and psychiatrists because when I thought I was able to talk, I was medicated. So that brought problem when I got married because when counseling was necessary, it was a fear. That's real talk.
Did she say she's still here? Somebody just said something.
Who? Dime?
Yes, I asked was she still on.
Dime? Well, let's go look and see if she answered you before we ask it again. But I'm healing now. I'm going to try to talk a little. Yes, she's still here. Okay, so, Dime, let me tell you something. My children were like that, if they even remember, in the beginnings of, in the process of me being separated and then divorced from my ex, there we took the family. I went for family counseling, but it wasn't with a psychiatrist. It was with a psychologist, which is a little different. They don't have as much power as a psychiatrist, but we were having family counseling, and every time it would look like we was at a breakthrough, the kids would freak out and be like, I don't want to come back no more. So we never really fully got a chance to heal as a family because once they got to that point where it struck that nerve, they just didn't want to feel it anymore. And so I didn't push it. I probably should have, and I wish I had when I think back on it this time, but I just felt like because they felt it was too much, I'm not going to force them to go through that. And so from that time until now, in this last 2 years, I've been going, right? Yeah, therapy. The last 2 years after now speaking, with a therapist, they offered to medicate. And I was like, not. Mm-hmm. I said, I want that to be a last resort. I said, if whatever I got to do, calm and exercise, whatever, I just don't want the medicine because I've seen what it does to people because you got to find out what the right dose is. And so that means that you got to be on this dosage for a while. See if you have any effect. Then you got to be on this. That's just too much. And so I was like, I want that to be a last resort. I want to continue to come and talk about it and work through it. And so I get where you are with that. At this last stage, they did finally give me something to take for anxiety.
Anxiety, yes.
Because I've started having these seizures. I started having these seizures, something that, as far as I know, I've never had before. But my mom didn't share much about my childhood illnesses with me before she passed away. So there's still some things that I don't know. But I have been experiencing these seizures, and they seem to be anxiety triggered. So they are trying something with me that seems to be working pretty well. They're not happening as often. Would you agree? They're not happening as often. Mm-hmm. So medication is not always a bad thing, but when it means that you're trying to shut me up, then yeah, I got an issue. I don't want anything that's going to alter me to the point where I don't know who I am and where I am. And so that's one of my things that I keep first and foremost in front of the doctor's table. I don't want nothing that's going to make me feel like I don't know where I am. or where I can't respond to
Right,
people
'cause
when
some of
they
this
talking to
medicine
me.
that they give you would be too strong.
Yes, you like feel like you're a zombie, and that's not who I am, and I don't want to lose anything like that. And so they've been pretty good with honoring that here, but it did take some time. It didn't just happen, like I just the first day I just good no, trust had to be built even there.
Get
But
you a good.
yeah, it's a good thing. So I'm glad that it's finally working for you and it's helping you to be able to talk a little bit more, because not everybody is the same. Not all counselors are the same. Some people really are asking you questions in the vein that they really want to see you successful. They really want to see you successful in your relationship. So I get it. I get it. We get it. I'm so glad you're healing now. You are somebody in God's kingdom, and there's a lot of work here for you to do. And so I'm glad that you are in your healing process.
What, Reggie?
I'm glad that you are in your healing process. Shanae said, I need something to help me sleep because I do not sleep. I'm not sure how I'm functioning, and I do not sleep. And most of the time, I do not nap. During the day, it's something you need to talk to the doctor about because they do have something that helps sleep. But you have to allow
time tea.
You have to allow your body the opportunity to rest. You go a lot and you try to do because you're a helpful person. But at this stage of the game right now, I keep on saying it, that you need to focus on getting all of you together. And there are things that you could take um, uh, that should help you sleep outside of melatonin. I know that's like everybody's first thing, take melatonin. Melatonin, when you've taken it after a while, it just doesn't even do anything for you. But there are medicines that you could take in combination, like it's a twofold. It's one or two things that you would take together that would offset one another and cause your body to relax. And I know it to be so because that was my issue. And so now I'm finally sleeping, through the night. For me, 4 hours was the longest. So if I went to bed at 9, I was up at 1 o'clock in the morning, and I was up until the next time it was time to go to bed because I just had that horrible of a sleep pattern. But we thank God for grace.
Shanae, do you take gabapentin? Because I know you have a lot of pain. If not, ask your doctor about that. I have Apostle to text it to you if you're not. I think that helps.
If they give you the right dosage.
If they give you the right dosage, that helps relax your body and help you to rest. That gabapentin is really good.
You would have to take it 2 times a day, something in the morning, something at night.
Yeah.
Because you can't take the full strong dosage because especially if you like me and you drive, you won't make it. So you don't want to do that. Reggie Elder said, what? Why are you just laughing at him? Random, but mommy, I miss sneaking your clear bottle Mystic Thunder. I'm telling you, only my baby boy.
Now he missed sneaking.
He missed sneaking it. He tell him now that he, but those Mystics they were the bomb. I used to have them delivered to the house. I did. They don't even have it in all the same flavors anymore.
Oh, I love the Mystics.
Yeah, Amazon has them now. Sparkling waters. Okay. So that's what. That's why that's what we were dealing with, technical difficulty. That's why I stopped going to the psychiatrist because they kept giving me medicine and I didn't like how it made me feel. And that's what I'm saying. It's not that the medicine probably wasn't working for you, but you didn't give them time to adjust the dosage. And that's why I didn't want to do it because I didn't want to go through that process of so many adjustments till they get to the right one that's just for you. And so what has been very helpful is gabapentin. And again, they started me on the lowest dosage, which was 100, only to find out from the latest doctor that I've been seeing is that they wasn't even giving me nowhere near what they should have been, because of my different ailments that contribute to me not sleeping. And so now that they've adjusted my dosage, it's not a narcotic. That's what I like. It's not a narcotic. So if they give you the right dosage, trust me, it'll help you. You might not sleep through the night for a minute until you get adjusted in your body, but you will start to sleep a little longer than you already have. So you need to be on, I would suggest gabapentin, and you need to be on at least 1,200 milligrams, which would mean 600 in the morning and 600 at night. They want me to go up to 1,800. I want just enough for me to sleep. I want to know who I am, where I'm going, and I want to drive myself around. So it's different for everybody. Gabapentin treats different things, and so it'll help with pain management as well. So it should do you a little bit better, especially now that you're going under these newer treatments that I've already endured. Okay, so ask your doctor about it. You're right. I'm telling you, Dom. I'm telling you. Gabapentin will relax you for real, for real. I have it for my seizures. I'm telling you, it has done wonders for me, and I'm grateful, especially concerning the seizures. They did add one other thing, but that was because this was before they increased the gabapentin, though. That's what happens when you got like 15 doctors. You got all these medicines overlapping, and so yeah. But Shanae,
I think they just it helps because they increase the ionis too. Y'all take the same dosage, right?
Yeah.
They take 1,200 and it relaxes you. It will help. I'm telling you, I'm between them two. I watch them and they're resting at night. They're resting.
That's
at
why I
night,
said take it half in the morning and half at night. Don't try to take it all in the morning because it makes you feel like you're floating, kind of. You're moving around, but you're in that feeling of floating. And so you don't want to cause harm to your own self because you don't know how your body will respond while you're driving, your time, your reflex time, or anything like that. So half in the morning, one dose in the morning, one dose in the evening before you're going to bed. And I don't normally take it before 10 o'clock. I don't normally take it before 10 o'clock. That way, by the time it settles in, I'm going through my night. So that's what I would suggest. Gabapentin has been working wonders. I use herbal supplements to help me with stress, anxiety, and sleeping. I never could get with any type of pill in any situation. Definitely learned that early on. And that's facts for him. Hey, Pastor Flag, the husband man. And so, excuse me, those are good. Maybe you could drop some of those names for them, baby boy. I started out with turmeric and cumin. One of my arthritic turmeric and cumin.
Yes, turmeric.
They had me taking that when they first found out that I was dealing with some of my arthritis issues. And those are good too. They're herbal supplements. You can get them from any herbal store. So we had technical difficulties earlier. This is late for us. We're normally done. We've been doing pretty good. We're being done by 10:30. We had some technical difficulties in the beginning. The internet was not cooperating with us, so we're sorry that we had to start a little later, and we're even more apologetic about having to end right now that the conversation is starting to get really good. But we'll be here as we're dealing with the 7 emotions tonight. We were talking about love, and we were talking about the fact that their love means something different to everybody. And so no matter what the definition says or what the book, what the book says, many of us live in different facets of love. And so that's what we were talking about tonight. And we continue on next week with love, or are you moving on to the next emotion?
The next emotion. I don't know which one.
We will let you know what that emotion is. Just might find a clip come up on our page and it'll let you know what we're dealing with. But my bestie did an awesome job. I hope you guys gained everything that you could from what she was saying. I look forward to this continual journey with us as we revisit the 7 emotions. There are more emotions, but the 7 primary ones that are dealt with, we're walking through them. And tonight was on love. So we thank those of you who came in and were transparent enough to share your stories with us about your love and what it meant for you and what things that you're still trying to deal with and not having a a problem with therapy. I'm telling you, I wish
therapy. What I said my shirt was going to say?
Therapy and healing is Jesus.
Therapy
Equal
and
Jesus.
healing equals Jesus. That's what my shirt will say.
So, as I first stated, we're doing a lot of things right now. So follow us on our various lives from our store, our store and different things that we're trying. We're trying to get rid of all of the old inventory so we can completely start over with new inventory. We're in a new spot in the same building, but in a different suite. And we have a lot going on, and we could use your continued support, Queens Designs and B&Q Creations. But as far as everything that we're doing for Loving the Me I See, you can cash app. That's what we're using. Loving the Me I See, and it's $ LTMISEE. LTMISEE, which is Loving the Me I See, the acronym for it. Different shirts you can see on our page, different diamond paintings that I'm doing that are for sale, and they are specifically for our outreaches that we're doing for Loving the Me I See, Broken Crayon Still Color, and Battered, Abused But Not Abandoned Women's Ministry. We are trying to put this live function together, this 1 day workshop, this 1 day live. And y'all listen out for my besties conference. She got a prophetic conference coming to a city near you. Just watch, just look and wait and see. And come on down and let God do what he does best. We love you. Remember that we're learning to love the me that we see unapologetically. We are fearfully and we're wonderfully made. And God knew exactly what he was doing when he created us. For he said he did all things well, right? Said, I know the plans that I have for you, and they're not plans of evil, but of good, to your expected end. And so he wants you to know that he has some good plans for you. And so don't worry about it. Make sure that people know that you are no longer invisible, but you are tangible. And I love myself, flaws and all. And so if nobody else loves me, I love myself. And before I can ask anybody else to love on me, I have to know what it is that I desire to be loved by. My bestie is going to give her last words. She's going to pray us out, and we'll see you next week.
Hey, you guys, do me a favor. This weekend, if you have not been to any of Apostle Armor's anniversary services, maybe you didn't know they were going on. We are closing them out this weekend. Friday, we have our pastor Singletary, who will be with us at 8 o'clock at 525 Orange Street. And then on Saturday, we have our overseer, Tabitha Wallace, who will be with us, and then closing us out Sunday. That's at 5 o'clock. And then closing us out Sunday will be none other than my brother, Pastor Alan Lawrence, at 4:30. 4:30 on Sunday. So come out. If you have not been out to visit Apostle, come and give her some encouraging words. Come and say something to her. Come and show your face. 525 Orange Street in the city of New Jersey. Friday night starts at 8. Saturday starts at 5 o'clock sharp. And Sunday starts at 4:30. Come and see my bestie. Come and let her know that you love her. All of you that are on Loving the Me I See, most of you are right there in the city of Newark and East Orange and the surrounding areas. So please come out and support her on this weekend. Show her some love. Let her know that she's thought about and that you care about her. We look to see you there. Look for my prophetic conference. It will be coming very soon. I will let you know when. We did it last year, 1 day only. And then if the Lord say the same next year, it will be 3 days. So we want you to look out for all of these things that are coming up. We love you. We love you, and we pray that you remember to practice love. Start with you first. Love on you. Speak to yourself. Love yourself, and know that the rest will follow. And we will see you on next week. Apostle has something.
And you guys can always help us. I failed to say it a lot before, but we remembered last week at the last minute and again tonight, just now. But send us those stars. Send us 200 stars. That's what we ask each person, to send us 200 stars. It should be on your link when you're on our page. It should show that you can send stars. If you can do that and help us out and send 200 stars every time you come on, tell somebody else to come on and do the same thing so that we can get better advertisement issue availability through Facebook because of the response of our viewers. So if you could help us out in that, that would be so great. sending us 200 stars. That's it. Every time you come on, send 200 stars. All right. Back in the hands of my bestie.
All right, so we're going to pray us out. We love you all. We're praying for each and every one of you. It was good for you guys to see us. Remember, we are here every Wednesday at 9:15. There will be a flyer. I wanted to get my bestie a flyer done. The flyer is done and it will be up on next week. So you can find us here or on the Loving the Me IC page. We love you all and have a good night. Now, gracious and kind God, we thank you for all of those that have joined us tonight. We pray, God, that we have said or done something, God, that will heal their hearts, God, that will teach them to love them first before they can love anybody else. Help them to heal. Help them to be whole. Help them to realize it really is okay to get therapy. Help them to find the right therapist that they need. Bless each and every one that was on this live tonight, each and every household. We pray that you will bless them now in the name of Jesus. We thank you and we praise you until we meet again. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Love you guys. Have a great remaining week.